curiosity always wins over judgment. So we just experience the beauty of the solution focus coaching. What did you learn from this experience? If there was only one or two keywords that you would like to remember and bring back to your workplace, what would it be? What first comes to your mind from this experience of solution focus?
Focus forward.
Focus forward. Mm-hmm.
Be positive.
Be positive.
Communicate.
Communicate. What's critical as part of communication? How do we best communicate together, coming from different countries, from different teams, with different personalities, with different backgrounds?
Openness.
Openness. How do you experience openness?
Finding similarities.
Finding similarities, curiosity. How do you express curiosity? Asking question. Asking question. Yes. There is something else that you did use during the solution focus experiment. You did ask question, yes, and there was something else. Listening. Excellent. Yeah, excellent. So through this questioning, already moving into the core of communication across culture. Communication in general, anyway, but especially across culture. This is even more important. So there are two key aspects: listening and asking questions. As I mentioned before, if you are able to do that, always, in any circumstances, you win through curiosity. Curiosity always wins over judgment. So by using those two key elements, you are actually moving from judgment to curiosity. So I would like, before we do a demo, to follow up on the solution focus and go to another stage which is useful for communication across culture. I would like to share a story from my experience working with scientists around the world, people expert in very different fields and confronted with very complex problems. A few years ago, I was called by a manager. I was working in a pharmaceutical company. And he said, you have 5 minutes to prepare yourself and go in a so-called war room. So we have this war room when we are faced with very unexpected circumstances, when we are developing medicines at a pretty advanced stage, and we have to find solutions in a very short time frame because it's around saving lives. So I remember I went in this room. There was like 5 or 6 experts. I came in the room and there was such a tension in the room. You know, you could see because people were seated, but they were really tense. You know, you could see the body language. They were like this, and they were with big eyes and, sweating and really like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And these people have a lot of experience. They have done a lot in their life. But we know that just 1 hour after, we have the management coming and they want a solution. So you can imagine the tension in the room. So I came in the room and I said, okay, so what are we going to do with this tension and with this situation? Nobody was saying anything for probably 2 or 3 minutes. And then suddenly I thought, I need to follow my intuition and just follow the first thing that comes to my mind, ask the first question that comes to my mind, just to get us unstuck. And I said, what can make the situation even worse? And I see some smiles here. Some people here are smiling about this because nobody was expecting this kind of question in such a tense situation. So yes, people start to laugh, they start to laugh to release some tension. Some people start to, have like, thinking, well, what is that? What is this kind of question? It changed completely the mood in the room. Completely. Because it was so unexpected that it allowed to release some tension. And this was it. The mood changed in the room and we were really in the creative mode. So this was a very powerful moment and it actually had a big impact because it's all about the mood. All the problems can be tackled. It's all about the mindset, how we approach problems, as you saw in the previous session. So it's about changing the perspective, transforming so-called problems into opportunities. So today, I'm really happy to be here with you because I'm here to share what I know, what I try to develop as tools to help people around the world to move forward and not staying stuck with their problem. So yes, it is based on solution focused, and there is something else that I will add to that, which is especially helpful in very urgent or tense or war room situation, so-called. We are all faced with this type of situation where we have only a limited time to find a solution. And a lot is at stake. So this could be useful for you, yourself, alone, but it could be useful with any team, a formed team at work, but also on the spot. Just form a team with people you don't know. Doesn't matter. The only thing is that you shouldn't exceed like 3 or 4 people to be most efficient. So you have actually handouts on the table that you can take with you, and you can so refer to the technique later on. So you can apply as I said, alone with your teams or by gathering things on the moment. And the more you practice, the better you get. So the people who are really good at it because they practice very often, they can actually come with 100 words, intuitive words in few seconds. And they can select and do the number of rounds that is most useful for them. So it's all really actually based on the intuition and solution focused. And the name of this technique is speed thinking. It has been used by scientists in very difficult circumstances where people have really very difficult problems and they have very limited time. And so, yeah, I can tell you that this works, and it actually also has a very relaxing, distressful effect on the brain. So you would think that by having limited time, it's very stressful, but actually it shows you the opposite. So it has the same effect as actually when you are trying to, take a deep breath, or, finding alternatives to feel less stressed. So really that is also very positive for your health. So that's a good thing. So instead of smoking or, or these, unfortunately, habits that we sometimes have that are not so healthy, you could try that as a replacement. That works as well. So before the coffee break, I want to summarize a little bit this aspect of working in a cross-cultural team and how all of this communication works, actually. Through this demo and the story I shared, it's actually about simplifying. If you want to communicate clearly, simplify. So if you want to communicate cross-culture, simplify. Simplify the question, simplify the answer. Make it short, make it simple, that everybody can understand, like you will talk to a child, almost. Really, really very simple words. For the answer, the same. Simple answer. Something, one word, 1 point. To the point. Very simple. So it's really about, removing filters. The filters we all have through our culture, background, personality, experience, good or bad experience. I am the sender. I send a message. I use specific words. And I hope you receive the message. When I do that, I try to send a message and receiver try to understand. So it's really I and I. And as I said, there are filters on both sides. The best way to remove the filters is to focus on the we. So it's to transform I and I into we. So it's not about me being the best, at what I'm doing, the best expert. It's really focusing on the key question. What is the question we are trying to tackle today together? And just concentrate on that. And do your best for this question. Not doing your best for yourself or for the others independently, but all together. It's really about that. And it requires some effort, some concentration. But at the end, it's about what are you willing to do to make cross-cultural communication easier? What are you willing to do to make your life easier? So to come back to the initial sentence, curiosity always wins over judgment. So move from judgment to curiosity. Curiosity about myself, about the others, about the question, about the situation. How do you feel about that? Would you like to share your experience? Have you already experienced this movement from judgment to curiosity? Today or before? Yeah?
I know I've done a lot of talking already today, but for me, do you think that it's easier for some people to move from judgment to curiosity? I'm thinking in my home, I'm a natural curious person. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I'm a person who's naturally curious. whereas my wife is naturally judgmental.
Ah,
Is that on camera? I just realised that's on camera, so I'm in trouble. But I was sitting there thinking, she would probably have more difficulty with that than I would.
Well, she would say the same.
Okay.
Just what, in your experience, do you think that people who are naturally judgmental, and there's nothing wrong with that, but
we are all naturally judgmental, I think. The first reflex, the first is to judge. You meet somebody new, you judge. If you don't consciously sometimes try to avoid judgment, this person is different from me, is coming from a different country, wearing colors I hate, I don't know, or, having different manners. Maybe I feel a little bit shocked by what I hear or what I see. So we all make judgments. We make judgment about food, about drinks, about people, about, the environment around us. It can be a survival skill because we know that we can actually move easily in an environment we know. It's easier for us and we can move toward habits, doing what we know, what we can do. But actually, it also hinders communication because as soon as we make judgment, we block the communication. So it's really, at the beginning, it's like everything, it's an effort to change that by asking ourselves different questions and being curious. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I would never have done that this way. But what does it mean for me? What do I learn from that? I would never have said that to somebody. What does it tell me about myself, about my own judgment, about my own assumptions? So it's really opening the space for us, individuals, and others. So as soon as we describe a situation in a way that we think people are different or doing things differently, we actually judge. So it's something that we have a natural tendency to do. So I would say, first, we should accept ourselves as we are, really, completely. With our strengths, with our weaknesses, or so-called strengths or weaknesses, just acceptance of the situation, and just ask questions and listen. What does it mean for me, for the person? Just this openness already is leading to the solution by itself, because people feel it. Again, we mentioned listening and questions are two key skills in life. If people see that you are listening and asking questions, automatically it opens the space. I will leave you with this sentence that we mentioned at the beginning. Curiosity always wins over judgment. So listen, ask questions, open your mind, use your intuition. And everything can be solved this way. There is no problem that can be tackled and turned into an opportunity.
World peace.
Exactly. It's really, the inner peace that you say, well, everything can be tackled and can be done. There are no limits, actually. The only limits we have is our own filters and assumptions and judgment. So saying that, I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share this with you. And I'm happy to follow up the discussion. And, I work with people around the world around this technique and developing always new techniques. I'm really interested by your ideas. And so I'm looking forward doing that during the next 2 days. Thank you very much for listening.